Life. My name is Martin Masharia, all right? And this particular morning, we turn our focus to the battles that we fight every day, the setbacks, the fears, the disappointments, and the moments that test our strength. Life doesn't come, with obstacles, but what truly defines us is, how we rise above them. All right, now in the next 30 minutes, we will explore the mindset, the strategies, and the resilience it takes to push forward when giving up, seems to be easier. All right, and joining me this particular morning in studio is Daniel Odhiambo, who is a motivational speaker. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Martin.
And many thanks, of course, making time to be with us here on the program.
Thank you so much and welcome.
All right, now even as I build the basis of this particular conversation, life doesn't, always come with obstacles, and we actually live with the obstacles regardless. So, and I want you to kindly reintroduce yourself and tell us about, what are some of the obstacles that, people face, and actually how can we overcome these obstacles, especially at this time and age, we've seen, people actually killing themselves, committing suicide. Kindly in 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Martin. First of all, let me introduce myself. Well, I'm Daniel Odhiambo. Daniel Odhiambo is a motivational speaker. I love working with the groups, the youth groups, all the people in the churches and all that.
Yeah.
And I've loved this for quite a long time. It has made me to do a book, and I want to say this, and this is scaling the heights of possibilities.
All right.
Despite the obstacles, you can still scale the heights of possibilities.
Right.
So obstacles are part and parcel of our lives.
Yeah.
And this book, you can actually get it in the bazaar, building, Nuria bookshop. It's actually there.
It goes for how many shillings?
It only goes for 700 shillings.
Right.
Yeah, when you are there, you'll actually
quite affordable.
Look at it. Quite affordable indeed. Yeah. Quite affordable. And you can also get me on a YouTube channel, Your Motivation with Daniel Odhiambo. You can also get me there. And also in the Facebook, Odhiambo Daniel. You can always get me there. Yeah. So right away, you've actually asked about the obstacles. Yeah. The obstacles, the way we've actually introduced it is that obstacles are part and parcel of ourselves, or our lives. Yeah. There's no way, there's no day as a human being you can actually be minus obstacles. And what I can say is that obstacles, there are several categories. The obstacles can be either internal, external, or the obstacles can also be generated from something that just happened suddenly, like to say death.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all these three are the major types of obstacles which face humanity as we speak. And
the obstacles usually, start with the mind. Or how do obstacles actually start?
Exactly, and that's the reason why I'm talking about the three types of obstacles. Because when you talk about the mind, and that's the mindset, for instance, it starts from there. Because when we say that, there's a conversation normally we tell ourselves. As we speak to ourselves in most situations, and therefore when I tell myself in most occasions that I have this as an obstacle, then I don't feel that I can actually I can go through, or I can go through this particular obstacle. So when I talk to myself, when I tell myself something like that, it means that I'll be in a situation whereby I cannot be able to do what?
Right.
To rise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do we tell ourselves? What do I tell myself? Yeah. It's very, very significant.
All right.
So it starts from the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you speak about obstacles, it is fueled by fear. Most of the times, before someone comes to a conclusion that I will commit suicide, that is actually fueled by fear. So, what does fear play? The role it plays for stopping people, from moving forward?
Yeah, fear, and I would say that fear, it's not bad to fear, to have that particular kind of fear, because fear does not actually mean that you are incapable. It only means that you are supposed to surmount the obstacle you are facing. Yeah. So the most important thing I can say there is that when we are having fear, if a situation whereby someone faces fear, it's important for you to talk to yourself. I'm talking about the conversation to yourself. You talk to yourself, you say that indeed this fear is there, and that's actually where we lose it. Because most of us, we may be facing fear outside there, and then we cannot share it out with anyone. We cannot actually tell ourselves that I'll indeed overcome it. And therefore, in such a situation, it can actually deteriorate to such an extent that it can actually lead to what? To those other negative things, which of course can lead to even suicide and all that.
Right, and most of the times actually you see people, talking to themselves. And what are the negative, impacts of someone talking to themselves in terms of, the obstacles they are facing in life?
Talking inwardly or talking outwardly?
Inwardly.
Or inwardly?
Yeah.
So you're talking about what are some of the?
The obstacles that comes with, talking to yourself instead of, speaking out your issue with someone, like maybe a therapist or someone. Yeah.
So what I can maybe say there, Martin, is that this one is very, but it actually depends on that, of course, at which level.
Yeah.
Because there are levels which, of course, when this particular fear is too much and you cannot actually talk to yourself well, you cannot actually convince yourself. That's the reason why we actually have the therapists outside there. We have the counseling psychologists.
Yeah.
So it is the reason why they are there. So if in a situation whereby you are incompetent, let me use that in quotes, you are not able to conquer your fears, please seek the services of the counseling therapists. That's the reason why they are there. While you go to them, it does not actually mean that you are weak. You are just going to seek their services because they are there for you. They are there for me also.
Right. You mentioned that you do motivational speaking, especially to the youth. And what are some of the challenges that our younger generation are actually facing right now?
Our younger generation have a lot of problems, let me tell you. And I tend to think that is because of the nature of the society as we are talking about. Because I think the parenting skills, the parenting, me as a parent, our parents have also failed us in this particular situation. And therefore we raise our kids right from when they are there, from when they are young, up to when they are adults, and then there is some disconnect in them. And therefore emotionally they are not stable. Emotionally they are not stable at all. So when we talk about the youth outside there, you realize that they actually have problems to do with drugs. Drugs are a real menace. And most of the time when you go to the university and the colleges, you realize that there are students who come to do the courses there. But because of one reason or another, when they actually find that the courses they are doing, they are not up to, they resort to drugs. And sometimes they go and they'll get lost there. We have statistics of so many of them who are lost outside there. So drugs is a very big menace there. Then another thing we can talk about is the career life. We actually have students outside there who, when I talk to them, they tell me that, of course, I got an A. I got an A plane, I got an A minus, I got a B plus, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You get that? So that's also another challenge, which of course faces them there. And also the other challenges in life, their social lives and all that. So those are some of the challenges.
And most of the victims are actually men. Men especially say that, they have this toxic masculinity where, when a man is actually facing a challenge, he cannot talk about the challenge openly with someone. Wanasemanga, kufake mwanaume. So from where you sit, do you see that this is actually killing our men?
Our men actually have a very big problem. And sometimes I think that sometimes we talk too much about girl child, girl child, and we forgot the boy child. And the boy child actually have an issue now as we speak. And therefore our men is our nature, of course. Even when in the society, when someone has even died, you're not supposed to shed tears. You see, if you shed tears, then you are not very masculine. That is the society. We have been brought up in such a situation. But I want to tell men outside there, I want to tell the young people outside there that it is not good. Kukuva kibanaume. When you are actually facing a problem, please seek assistance from the mentors, from those particular people who are around you, so that you can actually get help in time. Because the moment you don't actually get help in time, you can be a wasted member of the society.
And I actually had a therapist here in studio where we used to have a discussion on matters, matters affecting our youth. And most of the times when you look, back then, our parents actually didn't believe in, in therapy. As your child may be facing mental health and mental illness, but, back then you couldn't take your child to a therapist and pay, maybe this particular amount of shillings for this particular hours, but our parents now, actually most of our parents they don't believe in therapists and those stuff. So what's your take on that?
The parenting, the old time and parenting now, they're worlds apart. They're worlds apart. And the most important thing I can tell you is that during the olden days, remember there was not so much exposure as you speak today. Today we have Facebook, we have YouTube, all those particular things. So they have access to all these things. You get it? So during those days, those things were not there. And because of this particular exposure, the society we are in today, and that's the reason why at the moment we have the counseling psychologists. Initially we are not there. You actually didn't have the counselors long time ago. But nowadays they are there because the society we are in today has actually made us to face these particular challenges. And with these particular challenges, it is also important for us to see how we do what we solve these particular challenges. That's the reason why they are there. So to the parents, some of the parents are not aware. If at all your child is actually having a problem, especially when it comes to mental health and issues dealing with the social life and all that, you talk to your child. Right. He's not actually getting what you are talking about. That is the time you are supposed to do what, to seek the services of this particular personnel. All right. Now let's talk about relationships. We've actually seen people committing suicide, people killing each other in a love triangle, and most of the victims as well are the youth. Are the youth engaging themselves in early relationships, and what's causing that? Yeah, how early is early? That's another question. How early is early? Because we realize that somebody is in the university, for example, and is actually supposed to go to the 4 years before he graduates. Right. Somebody left in Form 2 or Form 3. Then a year later he's married and he's actually having a very good life there. Yeah. So the most important thing is that our mindset, most of the time, is that somebody or somewhere once actually has engaged in a relationship, all the mind is there. And the moment actually he feels that he is betrayed in one way or another, he feels that the world has what? There is a very big problem. And therefore he's not even ready to do what? He's not ready to face that. And that's actually some kind of failure on our emotional, our emotional well-being. And so it's very much important that even if you start, you must know that it can go ahead or it can crumble at any time. So that's actually what you should actually have in mind. So when these particular things come in, you realize that, kumbe, it was not supposed to go far. Thank you. All right. And most people actually say that failure is part of success, and experience is the best teacher. Most people say that. Why is failure a necessary part of success? Failure is very important, because if you're not failed, you're not doing anything. You have to start something you fail, and then from there, failure is just to show you that there's something you did and it was not right. Can you go back again and redo it? If it didn't succeed because of A, B, can you avoid the A, B, so that you avoid that? Then you actually succeed. So failure is not just like it's a situation whereby it signifies that you are somebody who is what? Incompetent. No, it's just a sign that whatever you did, the way you did it is not rather right. Yeah, it's just a sign to show that you're seeing here. That's not the way. Please follow this way. So failure is part of success. You have to fail. Sometimes you have to fail for to do what? To succeed. All right. And speaking of failure, what's the healthiest way, to respond when plans collapse? When plans collapse, because it's very much important, just the way I've indicated, that when you're even starting the journey, you can either we don't even think about this sometimes. You can either reach or you don't reach your journey. You can start as a project. You can start something, but you can either succeed in it or you cannot. So that's actually the mindset we should actually have. So the moment we don't actually succeed, we should actually know that it is part of the process. It's just part of the process. And you take it very positively. Because the moment you actually don't take it positively, it will rather do what? It will rather affect you, even emotionally and all that. And that's also not very right. All right. And from a motivational speaker point of view, what should people actually do when they feel overwhelmed by life? Rather, when you feel overwhelmed, life can overwhelm you in many ways. It can overwhelm you in education setup. It can actually overwhelm you in the social setup, or in the work setup and all that. So the most important thing is that when life overwhelms you, why can't you just breathe in and out, sit down, and strategize? I say that this is quite overwhelming. It is too much for me. Why can't I just break it into some smaller section, so that I can bite it at a time. I can bite it at a time, if at all it overwhelms me. All right, and most of the people actually want quick results when they actually start something. And how can someone remain hopeful when our progress is actually slow? And that's actually, we talk about the mindset also at the same time, because when for you to complete your race, you must go through the several laps for you to be a what? For you to win that particular prize.
Right.
So you cannot actually win that, but if at all it is 42 miles. You've actually gone 3, 4, 5 miles. Then you actually feel that you need to get the prize. No, it is not that. The most important thing is that resilience. You have to do what? You have to focus on the finishing line. There are things which can happen. For instance, you may be in this particular mile, the 42 mile, but in the 10th mile you stumble and you stagger and you fall down. So such things are happening. But the most important thing is just you have to focus on the finishing. Yeah, you have to focus on the finish. There are so many things which can actually happen between the start and the finish. But the most important thing, know that such things are bound to happen and know how to do it, how to come back.
All right, and most of the times when people face criticism, you go for job interviews. You've applied. You're a graduate actually. You go with your papers to interviews. There are discouragements. This person, what will you tell this person?
The person is rather discouraged.
Yeah.
That's actually very serious. I have someone who kind of is doing pupillage. He was actually finding those are for the lawyers. After Kenya School of Law, you go to pupillage and all that. So he knew that I was able to help him, and I decided not. And that is my son for your information. So I said that let him try his best. So he's telling me that it is all these application I've done, but there is no response. I've gone to 10 interviews, there's nothing. I tell him that please continue soldiering on. It is almost consistency. And at the end of it, actually he got it, because he knew that actually I have also access to advocates in town. But I told him no. There's a time he told me that please go and speak to so and so. I said no. Can you do your honest part? But I am glad, because I was trying to tell him or rather to teach him a lesson, which of course sunk now in him. That despite all this, let us actually keep moving. Let us not be discouraged, because the right time will come.
And what are some of the mistakes the young people should actually avoid when chasing success?
When chasing success, there are some things they are supposed to avoid. The first thing is that they should actually avoid very, very fast something in their mind. They should actually not focus so much that for instance, that someone actually has just graduated last year, for instance. Then he actually feels that before the end of this year should be having a very big job, for instance. I normally tell them that life is in series. You actually have to move in steps. So the most important thing is that they should actually know that patience pays. Patience is very important. Most of our young people, they are not actually patient. They are not very patient, and because they are not very patient, and they want very, very fast. Whatever they want it very, very fast. That will actually not help them. So I actually tell them that my observation is that they just be patient, because finally they'll actually get whatever they want.
Right, and disappointment. How can we turn disappointment into determination?
It depends on how you actually take it. And that's actually what is actually very much important. Because to someone, disappointment can actually mean that he has lost the rest, he has lost everything, and there's nothing else he can do. To someone, it actually means that, this disappointment, I have to strive more so that I get what? I get whatever I want. So I'll go just back to what I was saying, that let us actually train our minds so that we take disappointments positively, to know that it is just part of the process. It is just part in this particular journey. So we are bound to face disappointments. And as we face disappointments, let us be very positive. And if we are positive, then of course we shall succeed. But the moment the disappointments makes us now to crumble, I tell you, we shall be lost. So.
All right. And the one thing that's actually killing people is actually silence. And how can mentorship and actually learning from others help someone from, coming to this particular end where someone say, no, enough is enough?
Silence is a very bad disease. Yeah. I may be having a problem, and I'm very sure that maybe whatever, if I come to you, whatever you can actually tell me 1, 2, 3 things can help me in solving this particular problem. But I just decide to do it, very quiet, very silent. And this particular silence can actually lead to something called depression. Somewhere, a situation whereby I'll just be very, very quiet. I can even close the doors behind me all the time throughout the day, 24 hours. It's very bad. So what I could actually say on that note is that silence is not good. When we're actually having a problem, because we have mentors, we have people we can go to. We even have our pastors and all the elders and all that. So the moment I'm facing a problem, if I say that I cannot go to Martin, see, there's someone else I can go to.
Right.
Just by sharing the issue, it will be actually half solved. And by sharing, you actually realize that it will be given an example that so and so also had this particular problem, and it was solved. So the yours is not unique in any way. So, with that particular thing, the person will become motivated and he'll actually believe that, kumbe, I'm not alone. Yeah. I'll go through this particular process. Yes. So it helps. So silence is not good. It can lead to depression, which is not very right. So let us speak out. Let us share.
Correct.
Thank you.
And even as we wind up, what message will you tell that person who's actually watching you and, the person is actually struggling from something?
The person is struggling from something. This could be obstacles, the way you're talking about and all that. I have to actually tell them that the obstacle is part and parcel of us, and we face them constantly. The most important thing I'd actually tell them is that whenever you actually face obstacles, know that you are in the journey, because there are people who have faced obstacles and at the same time they have succeeded. Secondly, never be discouraged. Never ever be discouraged. Speak to yourself very positively and you shall succeed.
All right. And I want you to speak up to a younger you, maybe a 14-year-old you who was, back in the day, still wondering on, which career path to take and what about. How would you tell that particular person?
Like a 14-year-old?
Yeah.
We have, when it comes to careers, we actually have a problem in one way or another, because I am Dan Odhiambo, and because I know, for instance, I'm a parent, because I know that I wanted to do engineering, but I never made it. So I want my son or my daughter to be an engineer, so that I be called the father of an engineer. It doesn't add up. The most important thing is just to guide this particular young people. Know from them first what they want, and then from what they want, take them to what they don't know, and you give them the proper direction. So first, give them an opportunity. What do you want to do in life? Then upon that, just get what they're thinking about. Now take them from what they know to what they don't know, and from that particular process, you shall actually be. You shall have achieved so much. So don't just bump into somebody and say, I want you to be a doctor, I want you to be a teacher, I want you to be an engineer. No, just understand them first, and then guide them from what they know to the path they don't know. And from there, you shall be able to succeed very well. All
right, thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Odhiambo, for your time. And even as we wind up, I want you to tell us where, someone who has actually watched you wants you to, to be his or her motivational speaker, or maybe a school who maybe would like you to go and speak to their students. Where can they find you?
The most important thing is that I'm based in Nairobi, but they can find me on an email or in my mobile phone. Yeah. Yeah. Is it? And my mobile phone is 0722 921 486. So if you ring that, you'll be able to get me, and we are out here to help these particular young people, so that they can actually know where they're supposed to move.
All right, thank you so much for making time for us here on EBN television this particular morning. All right, I was joined by Daniel Odhiambo, who is a motivational speaker. We are focusing on, the battles that we fight each and every day, the setbacks, the fears, the disappointments, and the moments that test our strength. All right, and let me sample some of your feedback here on our Facebook page. You can see Emmanuel Ndeiti saying he is watching, Kennedy Jumba Asirigwa, Lusweti K.E., Shadrach Maina, Fred Charles, Letitia Fandi, Caleb Mutiso, and Brother Kelly, Simon Peter Tek, Mitch, Soul Harvesters Church, Cheryl McGinney, Stephen Okelo, Laureen Kelly saying great conversation. Right, just but to sample some of your feedback here on EBN television. We do appreciate your feedback. My name is Martin Masharia. This is Morning Live, and that's where we wrap it up this particular morning. But your faith today is actually coming up next in the top of the hour at 9 a.m. Don't miss that particular show. Let's meet again when God says we do.